Hi everyone. Today's workout I have called mindful movement. So what I'm meaning by that is the way that I want it to become second nature to you, the muscles that you're going to engage before you make a movement. So all our muscles are interconnected, as everybody knows, but I want you to become aware that if you're going to be in a 4-point kneeling and raise your leg, then we need to prepare the shoulders, we need to prepare the core, we need to prepare the glutes, the hamstrings, and then we lift the leg, rather than just lifting the leg and potentially injuring ourselves. So I'm going to do a lot of cues today to work you through these moves. It is going to be a workout, so don't fear about that. But I just want you to become more aware of the movements you're making. So we're going to start in a 4-point kneeling position. Okay, so we're going to mold our hands, little finger to thumb, and our hands are angled slightly in. You're going to push through those hands so you feel the muscles on the backs of the shoulders engaging and taking some of the weight. Your knees are underneath your hips and the weight is evenly distributed around to all 4 points, so you're not leaning to the right or to the left. Everything is nice and aligned. Okay, so we're going to start with some cat stretches. So we're going to inhale to prepare, then exhale. We're going to articulate that spine up one vertebra at a time until you're in this angry cat position, and then you're going to push the sit bones out slightly at the back to come back into slight extension. Okay, so I want you to think about trying to move that spine as individual vertebra rather than whole sections. Okay, so it's like a 4-point kneeling hip roll. Okay, so we're just moving the body in a different way. And out, let's just do 2 more. And down, and last one. Make sure you're feeling those abdominals when you're flexing. Okay, so we're now going to settle in the middle. So now we're going to unweight the right hand. We're going to open out to have a slight rotation of the spine. And then we're going to come through. We're not going to go down onto the shoulder like we've done before. You're just going to open out and then twist round. So I don't really have that much movement this side. You might have more than me, but just work with your body. And down. So let's see how we do on the other side. So rotate. It feels much more easy for me this side, but that's to do with my scoliosis. And open and round, and 2 more. Open out and rotate around that spine and down, and 1 more, and rotating down. Brilliant. So now come back into your 4-point kneeling position. Okay, reset again, we're nice and level. The weight is even distributed between all 4 contact points. You're not excessively in your shoulders or excessively pulling back. So we're now going to glide the right foot along the mat, keeping that weight evenly distributed. Going to use the hamstring and the glute to lift that leg. Okay, so I just want you to come back in, and then I want you to just lift the leg at the back and notice the difference. Okay, so when I do that, it automatically pulls in my lower back because I haven't prepared my abs in the time that I'm gliding the leg back to take that weight. So now do it again one last time, listening to the cues. So we're going to inhale to prepare, exhale. Use those abdominals to support the back as you glide the leg in contact with the mat to as long as it will go. When it won't reach any longer, lift it up using the hamstring and the glute. Now you should feel a whole lot more stable in that position. Okay, now hold that there. Keep bracing those abs. You're going to unweight the left hand, okay, and you're going to extend it. Now I want you to make sure that that shoulder blade is nice and flat on the back. So I don't want you taking the arm too long and you go into the neck. It just needs to be extended as long as you can keep those shoulder blades nice and flat. Okay, and we're just going to do tiny pulses up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Glide everything back down. Okay, and now we're going to go to the other side. Okay, so inhale to prepare, exhale, abs brace. The leg glides back. It won't glide back any further. Use the glute and hamstring to lift up. The weight is still evenly distributed. Unweight the right hand. Shoulder is nice and stable on the back. And we pulse up. 2. Really lengthen. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Glide them both in. Brilliant. Okay, and now I want you to come down onto your elbows. So I want you to, when you're in this position, to pull those elbows apart, and you should feel those muscles on your back engaging. So we're now going to glide that leg back again and make it long as you can possibly make it. Okay, and then we're just going to lift and lower for 2. Only in line with the hip. 3. The shape should not change in your back or your shoulders at all. 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring it in and let's go to the other side. Okay, so my abs are preparing. My leg is gliding back along the mat and it's going as long as it can. The glute and hamstring is then lifting it and lower for 2. My neck is in a nice alignment. I'm not scrunching in my neck. I'm not taking any excessive weight into the shoulders. The weight is evenly distributed. Let's do 3 more. 2, 1, and in. So now coming back into a straight armed position, okay, we're going to step back into a plank position, but I want your legs to be as wide as the mat. Okay, so in a plank, come back, I'll start again. In a plank position, it is vital that you spread the load evenly around your body. Okay, so that means you pushing through your hands. You're bracing the core for the load. You are using those glutes and hamstrings to help take the extra weight. Okay, if you don't do that, you're just going to go into the lower back and scrunch the neck and you're creating all kinds of problems. Okay, so let's prepare. So we're going to take one leg back. I'm pushing through my hands so I'm nice and strong on the upper body. I take the other leg back. Okay, my abs, my core is nice and strong. My glutes and hamstrings are working and I'm feeling quite comfortable. Okay, so now we're going to hike the hips up and the head comes just in line with the arms. Okay, your heels are towards the mat. Okay, so it's kind of like a yoga down dog, but not really. Okay, so we're then going to hinge forward and come back into that plank. So again, distribute that weight nice and evenly. Push through those hands. Okay, they're even in the feet. And then let's go back into down dog. Sorry, I shouldn't say down dog. Hike the hips. Head comes in line with the arms. And then one last time into a plank. Bring one knee in, the other knee in, and drop. Excellent job. So I hope you notice the difference with that if you really concentrate on distributing the weight evenly, a plank becomes much easier than if you just go into a plank without thinking about it and your hips sag, you maybe collapse in the neck. So I just want you to become aware of what we're doing when we go into those positions. So we're now going to go into seated position, high on those sit bones, arms are coming forward, shoulders are nice and relaxed on the back, and we're going to go into our half roll back. So my abdominals are pulling back towards the mat as I roll back. Okay, there is nothing in my shoulders at all. Okay, I'm going to come up, I'm going to extend the spine and extend the arms. Arms come down, abdominals tuck. All the work is in my abdominals. Coming up and extend their arms. Excellent. So a common mistake I see here is that people move their head forward to get that feeling that their abs are going further back. Okay, I would much rather you really do a concentrated effort on pulling your abdominals back and keeping your shoulders nice and level, and only come part the way down than to try and come the whole way down and really strain that neck. Okay, lifting up and arms up, and then let's just do one more. Roll back, come up, and arms are up. Great. Okay, so now we're just going to roll down onto the mat and take our legs with us until they come to a tabletop position. I'm holding on behind my thighs. Okay, my legs are in a tabletop position. So I'll just put my head down to say tabletop. So quite often I will see people in tabletop like that. There is no work in your abdominals at all if you have your legs here. Okay, so when you take your legs to 90 degrees, you can already feel the work in those lower abs, and all you are doing is holding in a tabletop position. Okay, so again, make the most out of even that simplest little movement. So holding on behind the thighs, lifting up. Again, my shoulders are nice and relaxed. Okay, and we're going to go into a single leg stretch. So here, I want you to really lengthen that leg away as long as you can. Get the most out of every movement. Okay? Keep the head nice and in line with the shoulders. Okay, again, my shoulders are nice and relaxed. And we're going to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just hug those knees in and rock from side to side. Okay, so I can't stress to you enough how important it is to get the length out of every movement. So if you did the single leg stretch and just went, right, you can feel that actually my legs aren't really working, I'm putting a lot of strain on my back, my core isn't strong. So by engaging, your hip flexor muscles, your quads in that movement, you're spreading the load. Okay, so let's come to side lying. Okay, so I want you to rest down. We're going to have our knees bent, feet together. We're going to go into a clamshell exercise. Okay, so when we're side lying, it's really important to have those hips stacked. So you shouldn't be rocking back or forward. Okay, I want you to feel like your side is lifted off the mat. Okay, and we're just going to open and close. So you'll see here that I haven't got a lot of range of motion here. If I try and get more, I'm just going to rock back and I lose all the work from the outside of that hip and the glute. And I don't want to do that. I'm trying to isolate the muscles all around here to make them strong. So when we're standing and trying to balance, or we're doing dynamic movements like running or jumping, I've got the strength to do it. So open, close for 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now we're going to lift the feet and we're going to open. Now the leg just straightens, feet together, knees together. So open, again, keep those hip bones facing forward, really lengthen, feet together, knees together for 3. And really feel that quad muscle lengthening as you lengthen your leg. 4, 5, 6, 7, and last one, 8, and come down. So you should feel a nice warm sensation around that hip. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so getting set up. So the reason we want to support our head is so that we don't have any neck or shoulder tension, because if you've got tension here, then that's taken again away from the movement in the hips. So come to that clamshell position. So we open, close, hips are pointing forward. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to lift the feet. We open, extend, feet together, knees together. Open, the legs straightened, feet, knees. Good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, really lengthen, and last one, 8, down, and then we're going to come onto our tummy. Okay, so we're going to lie face down, but our head is going to be resting on our hands. Now, this move is probably going to be a little tricky for you to actually see on the video, but I just want you to really listen carefully to my cues so I can tell you what you're doing and what you should be feeling. Okay, so you're going to rest your forehead on your hands, okay, and then I just want you to glide your shoulder blades down and then release. Okay, so this movement is so tiny, okay, but you're just gliding them down and up without extending the spine. So we're just isolating the movement on the scapula. Okay, so we want them to be able to glide around the rib cage and not get stuck, to make sure that our upper body and our shoulders and our arms are moving really nice and we're not getting any neck pain. Let's do one more. Good. Okay, so now arms are going to come out to the goalpost position. Okay, so we're going to extend up, we're going to reach forward, then we're going to pull down, okay, and then lower. So all we're doing here, the shoulder blades are making the same movement they were when we were just lying with our head on the mat, but now we're bringing in the arms. So we lift up, reach, pull those shoulder blades down and lower down. Okay, so we're going to come and stay up and do 6 pulls down. So as I always say to you, when we're lying in this position, I want your glutes and hamstrings to pull down. That in turn will lift your abdominals slightly off the mat, like you have a little ice cube underneath there, and that is going to protect your lower back. So let's lift up, not very high, my head is nice and in line, and we're going to reach and pull for 2, 3, 4, 5, and last one, 6, and lower down. Okay, the last exercise, we're going to lift up and then we're going to hold our arms here and we're just going to pull the shoulders together and down. So again, a tiny, tiny movement. Okay, so join me now. So you stay lifted, shoulder blades are just pulling together and back. So don't want you to come very high. You should not be feeling this in your lower back. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I want you to push up, and then I want you to come back into a shell stretch. Okay, so shell stretch is different to a child pose. Child pose, you widen your knees and you push your chest down. So a shell stretch is you come back, but you're arching up like you're creating a little tortoise shell on your back. So we're just going into flexion after being in that extension when we were lying face down. Okay, and then just release. And then again, just really scoop those abdominals up. And release. And last one. And release. And you are done. So I really hope you found that beneficial. Just to explain why we want to get the most out of every movement and how spreading the load really helps us to prevent injuries and make sure that our whole body is strong. So I will see you back here tomorrow where we're going to be doing a workout with weights. So if you have your cans of soup or you do have some light hand weights, no more than 2 kilos, preferably 1 kilo weights, then have those ready for tomorrow. And I shall see you then. Bye.